Welcome to the Spirit-Centered Business Podcast, where we blend the spiritual with the practical for supernatural results. Now, here is your host, Bralynn Newby.
Hello there. Welcome back to Spirit-Centered Business. I'm here for part 2 with Jonathan and Helena Cavan of Liebusters. And if you missed part 1, you'll definitely want to go do it because we talked about exactly what the mission of Liebusters is, how important it is to get free, stay free, and set free. And so in this segment, Jonathan, I want you to take it away on the business model and how we can use Liebusters as a tool in our business, because I know I have, and it's made a huge difference for my clients. So go ahead.
Perfect. All right. I'd love to share my screen because I do have a few kind of vision slides that map out the business model. If I share those, I think it will be a good lead in.
Perfect. Go for it.
All right. So,
you're so dang organized. I love that.
Well, we needed a business model where we and our clients were on the same page. Mm-hmm. And I've modified this slide. It used to say, we on the left, we need to be scalable and therefore and sustainable, which means we need money to fund the operation. We need more leaders because as we grow, we need to have more leaders in place. And we need to have funds to do promotion, advertising, Facebook, Google, whatever.
Sure.
And then on the right-hand side, I had, well, what do customers want? And I used to have on here, low cost,
high value.
High value. And, in other words, the most I can get for the little amount of money. And I realized that created a tension and it didn't work. Exactly. So I thought, no, we need to be on the same page. Guys, right. We're a family. Where are you in? If so, we are investing in this move of God to set people free. Brilliant. And like any investment, it compounds over time. There's this compound interest effect. So as you become more equipped, you will have a greater value in terms of what you can offer other people, in terms of kingdom value to release them into freedom, but also professional value too. So if you look on the right, one of the things that we're offering is growth opportunities. People love to grow. So our business model, we have these 5 courses, and I'll mention each of those briefly, but it does allow people to grow, and people love, if they have a good experience, it's like, what's next? What's next? Right. they just love that. And that's what we're experiencing. If someone qualifies for the basic course, they say, oh, what's next? What's next? And it's just great to be able to offer people that growth experience. But also, and this is what we're going to be focusing on, the professional opportunities, which I know you are, I guess you should probably be speaking about this, and we'd love you to in a few moments when I've done the slides, because you've really taken this and you have ran with it. Mm-hmm. And people want to be part of a move of God. I mean, hey, we want to feel that we're part of something which is bigger than ourselves. So I mentioned in the last talk that a year ago, I had just produced one course. We called it the Flow course, and that is the Liebusters course. It's how you learn how to do the lie busting stuff. Yeah. But over this last year, I've built out 5 courses. I've done 131 teaching videos, 160 lessons, and it's like, you know what? There's a lot of stuff here. Yeah. And within the 2222 family, which is our own social media platform, if I can use that phrase, it's like Facebook, but no advertising. It's totally private, and it's where we have our safe family connection time, and where we have all of our courses.
And all of our content as well, because we don't have a blog page on our website. We put all of our articles, I call them articles, into our 2222 network. And anyone can join the network and access that information for free. But by the very nature of what lie busting is as a spiritual tool, we just didn't want to come under the censorship of the search engines. So it's
Yes.
like, once you're in the network, you can see all of the content. It's all there for free, and it's really powerful, informative content.
Yeah. Yeah, I said in the last call, one of the reasons I got off Facebook, but I didn't say why. And one of them was, it was a distraction to my time, but also more significantly, I just didn't like the way it was going. And I could see that conservatives and Christians are going to be more and more constrained. Anyway, let's move on. So I realized I had done all of this work, but I was still charging $22 a month for everything. And it's like, wakey. So we needed to sharpen up our business model. And this is kind of what we're coming up with. But again, just getting back to our mission, we have identified humanity's greatest pain is fear, rejection, and isolation. I think whatever people feel in terms of pain, you can hang it on one of these. But therefore, the greatest need is love, acceptance, connection, which is the exact opposite: fear, love, rejection, acceptance, isolation, connection. Mm-hmm. So this is the greatest need. So the greatest journey, therefore, is to shift people from here to here. And that's what we're all about. But once people feel fully loved and accepted and connected, they can then live out their passion, their purpose, and their value, which is where we want to get people, so that they can begin to thrive, not just in their personal life, but in their business life as well. So if this is, if you like, from left to right, a journey, that's our mission, to lead people from left to right. So if that's a journey, we need a vehicle. And what type of a vehicle do we need? Well, preferably one with wheels and one with an engine, right? Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. So here are wheels, and here's our little carriage where we sit. We poop out the bad stuff, but we need an engine to make it sustainable and scalable. And here you can see in these concentric circles our different courses, starting with the Glow course. And I'll talk briefly about each one. Mm-hmm. But I just want to say, Bralynn, that 7 years ago, God said to me, I don't want you to train anybody until you have a system where you can train 1,000 people in a year. Yeah. And at that point, I had no idea how that was going to happen. And I did not want to give up my weekends running around the country, talking to 40 people in a room. Right. So I knew it had to happen through technology. Mm-hmm. And now the technology is here. The content is here. The systems are here. And we're just getting it all aligned. So it's quite a good time for us, a good time of convergence.
Well, it's taken a long time to get here, but this is the kind of the tipping point when everything that we've been doing all of a sudden comes together and moves.
Yeah, that's really good. And just a side note, I like your logo with the two facing each other that creates the heart. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a download. He gave me the Lightbusters logo as a download, the Get Free, Stay Free, Set Free as a download, and this was just a download too. Awesome. and Experience Lightbusters was a download. So he does give me these one-liners, which can be helpful. Not always. All right, so let's move on. So I've already spoken about the Glow course. This is our entry level, and it's our freemium product. So it's a really good course. If you stick at it and go through it, you could probably knock it out in 2 or 3 hours, or you can dip in and dip out. So all of our courses are evergreen, meaning you don't have to show up on time. You can dip in and dip out at your own pace.
They're all fully automated.
But the purpose of this is to encourage you, to engage you, give you hope, and give you a pathway if you want to continue, but also allow people to get to know, trust, and like us, or otherwise, they either opt in or they opt out. So that's the design goal of that.
And let me just speak to the business concept of that, because when you have a business model that is really targeting your ideal clients, people who are not your ideals will opt out, and that is perfectly okay, because we're not called to serve everybody. We want the people who are serious, who want to go in the direction of the mission of the business. So I think that's brilliant. Did I lose you?
Absolutely. As I've always said, is when you change your game, you change your gang.
Oh, brilliant. Yes.
And it's very true, because life is this journey of increase. If you think of tennis, for example, you play with better and better and better people, the better you get. And you improve your game by playing with people who are better than you. And sometimes when you decide that you're going to start playing tennis, you can't hang out at the volleyball court anymore. Then you make a new group of friends at the tennis court rather than your old friends at the volleyball court. So when you change your game, you change your gang. It just happens as a matter of course.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And I guess we're going through that, and we're going through a bit of transition at the moment, but so far so good.
Yeah, we're excited.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is our entry level. The next one is the Glow course, which is about education. Here we educate people, we teach them how to lie bust each other. And this is great value. And you get to give 7 lie busts, you get to receive 7 lie busts. And in terms of the business model, we've got 2 price points. You can either pay monthly, or you can get 12-month access. And it's geared, the course takes 2 to 3 months to do. If it takes longer, you're probably not really going at it. But hey, if you're really busy, you may not be able to. So if you pay the monthly model, you only pay as long as you're doing the course. So there's an incentive to keep moving. But if you need the time and you can't do it in 3 months, then you can buy 12 months for the price of 3.5 months. So we've just geared that price point to incentivize those people who want to get up and running and out the gates. But we also want to accommodate those who
need more time.
So that's really a smart way to go. That's really great. You guys pay attention to that.
Well, we've geared it. It has a gearing. And what we've had to do is go to our existing members and say, okay, guys, you have had phenomenal value for a long time.
For $22 a month.
We're changing stuff now. Now the flow course is $99 a month. I mean, even that, you give 7 lie busts, you get 7 lie busts, you get trained, you get in the family, you get in a group, you get mentored. But it's a jump. And so how do you transition those people? So we have given those people a little window of freebie before the payments kick in. And I have never seen people move so fast. I mean, they are so engaged.
It's so exciting. It's really, really fun. It's just cool. Fun.
Everything's just.
I know. And I'm
live.
I'm definitely one of them, because I was only like a couple steps away from ending, and now I'm like, oh, gotta get her done.
Yeah.
And it's just human nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's human nature. Money is a motivator, but it can be a fun motivator when it's like there is a big carrot and a big generous gift as part of it. And that's what we've always done. We've always given a lot with everything that we do, and it's who we are. We love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think, Bralynn, I want to speak to culture here, and I think in the States, you guys have a better view towards investment, particularly investing in yourselves, certainly than in the UK, where maybe we're more cost conscious. And what this is doing is highlighting people who say, yeah, I want to invest in myself, and it's a no-brainer. What this is giving me is a no-brainer, as opposed to people who just think cost. And it's exposing that, and it's like dividing the sheep and the goats. And those people who are just thinking cost really have to decide, well, why am I here? But as we go into the professional opportunity piece, which I'm going to get to next, the people who see it as investment, it's not just investment in their own freedom, but also as a business opportunity, a professional opportunity for them.
Can I share something that the Lord gave us when we were praying this week? And that was, Jonathan got this word and he said, as I live as a son of a heavenly king, I'll create value, and that value will have a currency. I have to focus on value creation. The mindset issue is this: money is designed to be a measurement of value, but people who don't look at the value and just look at the cost, when they look at the money and not the value, they have a poverty mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So God's encouraging me to look at value and to be value driven, not to be money driven, and encourage others to do the same. So the declaration is, I am value driven, not money driven.
That's really good. And I was going to say something like that. So I'm really glad that you did that. And when Jonathan gets done with this, I do want to circle back around. And because you said something, you said when you guys were praying this morning or this week or whatever. And so I want to circle back around there. I made myself a note, but hopefully I will remember. So help me remember to circle back. So Jonathan, where are we next in this presentation here?
All right, we are getting into Proficiency, or the Pro course, or to be able to live bus professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So the Flow course, this one, you do get a license, but the license will allow you to live bus friends and family for free. But the Pro course, Proficiency, this would take you to the highest level of freedom ministry training that is available. You will be so highly proficient. You will have so much confidence that God can do whatever he wants through you. You will not be able to limit him. And this level of proficiency, you get a license. This is an example license in the top left. This it says Grow license. That's the next course, but you'll get one that says Pro. And that license will allow you to use the LiveBusters tool in your professional practice. And maybe this would be a good point, a good place for you, Bralynn, just to say what your experience has been, because you've been using it in your coaching practice.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to keep the slide up there, or should I just take it down for a second? Okay, so yeah, this has been such a really cool tool because I'm able to move past blocks in people's business. And the way that this works, my signature process is called planning to profit. And it's the 3 kinds of planning. What are you planning on? You know, doing the planning and then getting out of planning and into profit, because some people just sit there and planning. But that first one, what are you planning on? There's a lot of emotional baggage that comes into your business. And there's blockages, and there's belief systems, and there's behavioral issues that come from just programming and things like that. And when that comes up with my clients, we're able to LiveBust it, and we don't need to do a formal LiveBust like all the way through, which typically takes about an hour if you go through the whole thing. But we're able to quickly just see if it's an issue in your own life, if it's an issue in generational, if it's a critter just bugging you, and get rid of it, and then get the truth instead. And then, you know, like we talked about in part 1, the practical meaning of what that looks like in your business. And I'm so about that, because you can come to a truth that says, let's just say, my business is going to be profitable. What does that mean? You know what I mean? Tell me what that means, really. And we can really just sit there, and we can literally, and I have, you know, with Spirit-Centered Business, I take people up into the business complex in the heavenly realms as well. And, you know, we just go, no, if you don't understand that, that's just more of a spiritual kind of exercise. We close our eyes and see what Holy Spirit wants to show us about our business. And so we can then say, what does that mean? What does profitable look like? And we can even get timelines. We can say, what is it going to take to get there? You know, what are the steps that's going to look like? And then sometimes, well, all the time, we have to trust on the how, but we can get that picture of what that ideal future point is going to look like, and then trust God with the how. right? We have the hands off. So it's really been a huge tool to move people past those blocks and see if, especially when they're getting clarity in their message, that always comes from their story, the mess that they had in their life and how they've overcome it, and now how they can teach it and articulate it, the lesson that they learned, to others. Well, sometimes the very thing that's messing us up that we're called to teach is blocked, like we can't see it. And so even in order to get clarity on your message, there's a little lie busting that needs to happen. And it's just been so phenomenal to really get some heavy duty breakthrough. And we've had clients who have seen literal like money coming in, opportunities open up, doors being opened, aha moments where they're able to create something new that they thought, well, I could never do that, and then now it's a thing, and they're really going with it, and it really feels good, and they come alive in their business. So I've had great results with it.
Yeah. And I just want to call out what you're doing is what we call in our language a mini lie bust. So it may only take a little 5 minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes in one of your coaching sessions can just unlock someone. And you've just teed me up nicely to kind of jump into the next piece, because so far we've been talking about how you can lie bust individuals, but the next piece goes on to teach people to expand their impact, which is why we call it the Grow course, and I guess why it's green. And that is giving you the ability to lie bust a group of people at the same time. It could be a room of 10, 20, 50, 1,000 people, where you can lead them and they can all experience a personal lie bust in parallel.
Yeah.
So that's a really powerful tool.
And this has been great too. And I accidentally, quote unquote, just because I was in this group and I knew something about it, and then everybody said, would you do it? And I'm like, okay. So I literally, they were having trouble seeing. And I had known that part of trouble seeing was related to Freemasonry because of the hoodwink that they put over your eyes. And so we just, in a group, broke off any possible Freemasonry in your bloodline, and moved past it. So it's really cool. Yeah. And then there's this, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we've Lyndon, she's completed this, but even before she completed this, she was in Africa. I mean, I love people who are ahead of the game. So you're ahead of the game, because Bralynn, because you've been using this and you haven't quite qualified yet. And we say, well, just do the training in the group. But there are always these sheep who will stray outside of the fold, and I love those people because they're the go-getters, they're the forerunners. But Lyndon, we've had this with two ladies, totally independently. They were both told by the Holy Spirit that you're going to go to Africa and you're going to have a gathering, a village, and you're going to lie bust the whole village. And so two ladies did this using the lie busters tool, but specifically the witchcraft, Satanism, and Freemasonry piece. And so Lyndon was standing in front of this village, and this village was made up of 4 tribes, but they were all living in the same village, and they had a history of contention, but it was violence and murder. They were killing each other. Anyway, she spoke over them. She's a little lady. She probably stood on a box. She stood over them, and she lie busted them all as a group. And the matriarch of the village at the end, and people were impacted. They fell on the floor. The matriarch said, from this point onwards, there is peace under God in this village. And this was like 2 years ago. They haven't had one incident. The whole village is in revival. They've got no violence. It's amazing. So
I got goosebumps.
The Grow course teaches you how to do that. But there's more. It's not just about doing a group. It can also about leading a group to lie bust a business, or lie bust an event, or lie bust a place,
or a situation.
So you may have a corporation. Well, I'll give you an example. In the UK, there's this guy who is a director of a business, and he got all the directors together. He and his wife were lie busters, and she led the directors at a board meeting. It was February of last year, and lie busted the business. And God revealed things that had happened in the formation of the business, in the roots of the business that were not of him. And they had their best March ever, and they went on to have their best year ever. So they had a dramatic turnaround when they addressed the ungodly roots that were sown into the business. So I'm really excited for you, Bralynn, because you will be able to offer your clients the ability to lie bust their businesses.
Right, right. And I also have done a team approach grow where we all focused on the same thing. Like specifically, I'm thinking about hope deferred, especially for 2020. We did hope, we lie busted hope deferred all together. And that was just amazing. So I'm excited to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's something about doing a group lie bust that really bonds people together in a shared experience. And it just puts things in your head and puts things into perspective, because on one hand, you get the lie list and the slime list of what God wants to remove, and then you get the truth list of what God wants to do. And so it was really sweet, because actually this Wednesday, Lyndon, again, that Jonathan mentioned, God told her to lie bust our 2222 family. So in the group session, we lie busted the 2222 family. And it was wonderful, because really it gave everybody a voice in the community who was part of that group, a voice to air any concerns or any fears or any
especially
problems.
Especially as we're going through this transition.
Sure, with the new format. So it was a really honoring thing to do, because it just gave people permission to express themselves. And so it was wonderful, because one of the outcomes, or one of the results of lie busting the 2222 family, was that someone had a prophetic picture of standing on the Great Wall of China. And they saw lie busters being released into China. And that kind of jogged my memory to the fact that we have translated our book into Chinese, and it just needs one more proofread by a Chinese speaking lie buster before we send it to print. And that piece is still missing. So I mentioned to the family, I said, well, as a matter of fact, we'd love to go into China. So the following morning, I had a lie bust with a woman who was a Chinese missionary. And she had, and I didn't say anything at, up
This
front.
is like 48 hours ago.
Yeah,
so this is in action, isn't it?
This is Thursday morning. This was yesterday morning.
Yesterday.
So yesterday morning, so I prayed for this woman who had been a Chinese missionary, and she had an incredible freedom of something that had come on the generational line that was very significant in holding her back. And we had a really, really powerful time. So at the end of the session, just kind of had a quick chat. And I said, look, would you be able to help me? I need to find a Chinese speaking lie buster to read to proofread our translation. And she said, well, as a matter of fact, when we trained in China 2 years ago, we trained 2 teams of people how to do lie busting. There are 4 families left in China out of the 40 who were there. And one of the families is lie busting right now and speaks Chinese. I'll get in touch with her and ask her if she'll proofread the book. And I was just like, wow, that is so awesome. The convergence and the sequence of things.
The timing
of it all. And this is what I wanted to mention on the earlier slide, is that people transform through revelation. So when you were talking earlier, Bralynn, about helping people move their mess to their message, to their business, to their profit, they know about their mess, they have knowledge about their mess, but they might even have some wisdom, insight, and understanding about their mess. But actually what they need is revelation, because it's revelation that brings transformation, and it's transformation that brings empowerment. So it's in fact that sequence of moving from the head to the heart into the body of behavior shift and implementation that actually brings about growth. It's the implementation piece.
Yeah, brilliantly said. I love that.
All right, I'm conscious of time a little bit. I want to push on.
Yeah.
So the final course that we have is to expand your influence, which is the show course, which is if you're still standing and smiling after going through all of these, which you are, Bralynn, and you're very nearly in the show course, you're then empowered to lead, to help others in our community, in our 22 family, and to participate in that, and also to become one of our trainers inside or outside of the community. So the professional opportunities are the last 3 courses. So that would be the pro. You can lie bust individuals as part of your existing practice, whether you may be a therapist, a counselor, a psychotherapist, a coach, a business coach, an executive coach, a health coach. We have massage therapists who are lie busting the human body with great results. And I think there was one more, but it kind of slips me. But this is where you can begin to use the tool as part of your professional practice. And then, as we've just said, if you then want to lie bust businesses, which takes it up to a whole new level. And we should just point out that we have an arrangement with a business that probably most of your viewers would know. It's a global organization. The founders and the directors have all been lie busted, and they have approved for all of their staff, and they will pay for all of their staff to have a couple of lie busts because they so value it, and it's transformed their business.
Transforming.
Yeah, well, it's transforming their business because of the effect it's had on the founders. So that's something that, you know, we want to partner with folks such as yourself, Bralynn, to do. And then there's the show. So I think coming into land then, this really shows the new model, our transition piece. It shows everything. And for those of you interested in marketing, we have the different inputs on the left. We have our landing page, which is 2222.family. We have access to the platform, which is our kind of our social media network, our private network, which is free. We also have the Glow course, which is our freemium course, which I spoke about in the last meeting, which is our entry-level freemium product, which is high value to give people a feel and a taste. But then we start giving people the opportunity to grow with us. So the next step is for them to join one of our weekly groups. It's a mentoring group where we get together for 90 minutes and they can pay monthly or annually. And then if they wish, they can start ascending and going through these different courses we've just described. But as I said earlier, we've got this geared pricing model where people pay monthly. So the faster they complete, the less they pay. But we do have a minimum 2-month requirement on each of these. Because going faster than that is not doing it justice.
But a lot of people are just happy to pay the $22 per month to be part of the network, to watch the videos and to consume the content, because there is so much content and I'm constantly posting articles and new content. And so a lot of people just like being there for $22 a month. And that's really great because they get to join the group. They like the sessions. They like to meet people.
People move at their own speed because everyone's on their own journey at a different place. So we just allow that to happen. I think this is just a revision, and I think that's a revision. And then, that's it. That's our business model. And I guess what I'm noticing, Bralynn, is because we're in journey, we're in transition. That live bus that Helena and I had in bed the other night really allowed God to speak to me about value over cost. Yeah, that helped me position. And now he's got me noticing all the people in our community who are coaches, and there are more and more of them. We've got one lady in the UK. She's a hairdresser, she's a therapist, and she's a coach, and she's opening up a practice with a business premises to offer all of those things in
under one roof,
which is very interesting to see how that will work out.
It is really good. Yeah, no, I did mention earlier that I wanted to cycle back around, and you just mentioned it again, that you guys were doing a live bust in bed. Well, I know that I worked with you on your getting your declaration of.
Hey, hang on a sec. I just want to say we do other things in bed too. And in fact, on Valentine's Day we live busted our sex life, and that was amazing too. But I don't have time to tell you about that. So carry on.
You had to go there, didn't you?
You can edit that.
No, that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, so you and I worked on your declaration of trade for Liebusters, and there were a lot of segments in there. And one of the things that you committed to do was meeting with Holy Spirit every morning for your business. And I know that you guys said that you were doing that. Is that still a thing? Are you still doing it? And how is that?
We're praying. We're praying. I'm not sure that we're consciously going to that specific room, you know.
Yeah.
It's not. I would say it's not first thing in the morning, because we do other things in the morning. But it is an awareness throughout the day.
Oh, good.
So I'm aware of the declaration through the day, and God is pointing things out to me during the day.
Okay.
So it's more of a living document that we're engaging with during the day. That's my honest.
And if something comes up that ruffles the peace, then we stop and bring that to the Lord. Because one of the things that the Lord's been really focusing me on is on focusing on the planks in our eyes and not the specks in others. So if there are any bumps with people as we go through life and business and whatever, when that bump happens, instead of focusing on the speck in somebody else's eye, it's like, okay, Jesus, would you please show us what are the planks in my eye? What are the planks in our eyes that you are revealing through this situation? And that's where the rubber meets the road, because it's always about being in peace in business and keeping your peace in business. So that when something comes against your peace, then you know what to do with it. And doing isn't about focusing outward. It's about bringing Holy Spirit inward, because that's the only place we have influence. We can't control the specks in somebody else's eyes. We can only influence the planks in our own.
Brilliant. I love that. Okay, so one more time, go to 2222.family if you want to join the Glow course and look at the network and all of that other stuff that they bring to the table. And then also in Facebook, if you could just search for Experienced Liebusters and join that Facebook group. They do things on Thursdays at 8 p.m. UK. So that would be
12
noon
p.m.
Pacific.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, thank you guys so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you. And I'm excited for Liebusters and the new business model and going forward and all of that. Thank you again. Blessings.
Well, hey, Bralynn, I just want to say a thank you and a shout out to you. All right. Because I would not have been able to facilitate this transition on my own. And it took you and another lady who's a business person in our community to basically hold my hand and drag me through it. And I have had to play catch up with the mindset through because I'm entering new territory. And so I just want to do a shout out that, you guys out there, you can't do it on your own. You need other people who are going to come alongside you. You need other people who are going to be there for you, who are in there with you, with God, who can encourage you, who can coach you, who can lead you. And Bralynn has done a great job for us. And so thank you, Bralynn. I just want to recognize that because it's true.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And you've been a really good godly coach and mentor. So you're asking the questions, but you're also teaching as well. And I think that it's been transformational for us to have that connection with you and that accountability with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. That's a great encouragement for me. I appreciate it. Yeah. And all of us who are looking to move forward in our business and our personal life and get that personal growth, we are investing in it, and we're investing in coaches. Absolutely. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, I also want to say that people can book a live bust. If they just want to book a live bust, they can go to our website, which is www.livebusters.global, get live busted, and you can just book a session if that's the way you want to go. So that's another option for you.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. It's been
You're
great
welcome.
to spend time with you.
All right. And until next time, you guys know the drill. Stay spirit-centered. Peace out.
Amen.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Spirit-Centered Business with Bralynn Newby. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. The next stage of doing business by being spirit-centered is coming together in collaboration, working with spiritual principles and knowing our destiny. Join our tribe at spiritcenteredbusiness.com, and we'll catch you on the next broadcast. Peace out.